Hey, what's happening everyone? I'm SirJames coming at you guys with another Star Wars product review. This one is not related to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, but is related to some of the new products that came out during Star Wars First Friday, which based off of what I've heard from the community and watching other people's toy hunting videos, it seems like a lot of people didn't have so much luck for this event, which I can't blame them. Heck, I didn't have much luck because I was hunting for a Black Series Mandalorian figure, a certain variation that was a Target exclusive with no luck whatsoever. But courtesy of Xander, he did donate an item to the channel to review for you guys, and that is this brand new D-O Droid. Now there was two different variations of the D-O Droid that was released. This one here is the more expensive model at $150, which is a Target exclusive by the way. And there was a cheaper model which is a lot easier and common to get, which is going for around $50 to $60, and the Daniel channel actually did a review on that one. But let's go ahead and check out this $150 version and to see if it's going to be well worth the price tag, or if it's completely pass, wait for a sale, or just completely skip altogether. So first off, let's go ahead and go over the packaging, and then we're going to talk about the details, build quality, and of course some of its features. So here is the packaging that you're going to be looking forward to. It's a nice, clean, simple packaging with the green, the image on there. It looks very nice all the way around. On the back, it's going to list some of its features, which we'll go over in just a moment. And back to the front once again. So quickly reading off its features, do keep in mind that if you do get this one, you will need to have a mobile phone with Bluetooth enable. And this will work with either Android or iOS devices, so whichever that you have, this is going to work for both variations of the mobile device. So going over its features, this has the D-O chases the ball and plays games. It has a self-balancing wheel, moving head and antennas, light up eyes, and of course movie-inspired droid sound effects. And that's basically, as far as packaging detail goes, it doesn't go over all the features because you're going to have to connect it to your mobile device, which is very straightforward, and that's where you're going to have all your extra features. But before we go over that portion, let's go ahead and bring the droid over and show you guys in more detail. First off, when you do get this out of the packaging, you do have a few items in the box. You have the sphere, the droid, you have the antennas, which you need to place on his head, and of course you also have the bottom portion of the packaging along with the top, which actually acts as the stand that he's currently on right now, and he has a small little USB charging cable. Now this is the sphere right here, just very simple. Do keep in mind that you do need to provide at least 2 AAA batteries for this. You just simply unscrew the lid, and of course you do need a screwdriver to access that panel, and as simple as that. And on the sphere there's actually a button right here that you press that will actually light up, and that will be used for certain activities that you do with the droid itself. Now here is the stand that is actually being utilized with part of the packaging, which is pretty neat. So here your sphere will land in here along with your D-O droid. This bottom portion actually lifts up. You could actually store the antennas in here, and you have your cable for charging when you don't have it in use, or you just want to have it kind of in a storage situation, which I don't have the cable put in correctly, so I'm just going to remove the cable for now. And on the bottom, nicely embossed with the Star Wars logo. And then here is D-O himself. Give you guys an overhead shot. I remember reading a lot of comments where people were looking at the design. A lot of people are saying it kind of reminds them of a desktop lamp. Others are saying kind of reminds them of a strange looking hair dryer. So whichever comes to mind. So give you guys a closer look at this guy. I will say that as far as the detailing goes, he looks really good. They did a good job with the weathering for the $150 version for sure, compared to the cheaper model, but you know, anything could be better or made better with a bit of repainting. So very simple, straightforward. As I stated, the antennas in the back actually do come off, because if he does fall, these will often pop off, and they're designed to do that, so it's not like they had them in there permanently, so if they were to fall, they'll snap off and break. It's meant to do that if he has some form of collision, which we'll get into in just a moment. Now, I will say as far as functionality goes, he does maintain his balance quite well, standing upright. You'll see him kind of like rotating back and forth, forward and backward, maintaining his balance to keep upright. But one of the issues that this guy has, he falls over a lot, which is one of the biggest issues in regards to this product, because the thing is, when he turns, what he'll do is that he'll tilt his head. And what happens with that shift in weights, and again, it's not much, it doesn't take much to knock him over actually, is that he'll just constantly topple over and crash, and it's so frustrating. But before we get into that, like I said, he does rest in the stand right here. And you got this back piece here that keeps him from crashing all the way down and landing on the antennas, which is a nice design choice. And then over here on this side, you actually have your port for recharging, and there's a cable here to turn them on, which we're going to go ahead and so he's kind of awake now. He's not really connected. He might do something, but we're just... Okay, he's doing something there. I'm just going to go ahead and place him down. And before we get into it, I'm just going to kind of let him be. If he gets annoying, I'll turn him off. But he also does come with some instructions here, which is very straightforward of how he works. Nice clear pictures. And I'm just going to go ahead and turn him off momentarily just by holding the button. Alright, so now he is set to off, so that way I could show you guys the app features and talk about some of the things that you can do here. Let's see, play without the toy. Okay, so this is what the app is going to look like. It'll tell you what you need to use to connect. You have all your different features here. You're going to notice that some of the ones are currently grayed out because the droid is currently off, so therefore he's not connected, but I do have some B-roll footage. Basically in the Hangout spot, you can do different activities where you turn on the ball, you can have them follow the ball, which that portion actually does not work at all for some reason. So it's one of the few issues. There's a thing too where he can remain in the dock itself and he'll chat away, or maybe he'll go into like a security mode, which that one actually does work quite well. There's another one here that is called control. Now in control you have your movement, which is either left, or you could rotate the screen to have it for if you're right-handed or left-handed. And on top of that, there's also a speed control. So at first, by default, when it's blue, he goes slow, but when you activate turbo mode, he'll go much quicker pace. He's not going to like jet like out of the way or anything like that, but he'll move a lot faster. And then of course, he also has different expressions that you can activate on the control panel as well. Anything from happy, sad to alert, or maybe he'll sing or something. But one of the biggest issues, as I stated, is the fact that he topples over a lot, and you're going to have to get up and pick him up, set him back down multiple times, because again, any shift in weight of either direction, he's going to keep crashing and crashing and crashing. And I do have footage of that, because and the next portion I want to go ahead and talk about is the play app. Now in the play section, there's like 3 little games that you can play. One of them, which actually functions perfectly fine with no issues, is a guessing game where he'll do one of his expressions, and then you'll have a few seconds from the 4 choices that is presented on screen to figure out what expression he did. And like I said, I did pretty well on that one. I think out of the few attempts, I only missed maybe 1 or 2. There's another one that's called hot and cold. What would happen is that this one will incorporate the use of the sphere. You press the button, that way he indicates that, okay, he has the sphere registered to him. And what you do is that you'll put the sphere in some location, and then what he's going to do is that he's going to roam around the area. And the whole idea with hot and cold is that obviously if he's not getting close to the item, you mark as cold. When you do that, he'll alternate his direction until he starts getting warmer and warmer until he's able to find the item. But again, because he keeps knocking over so many times with the shift in weight and movement, this form of minigame is not really ideal, and it doesn't really work most of the time. The other one as well is basically find the ball. So you'll, again, put the ball in a location, and one of the tests that I did is that I had the ball placed behind him. And his job is that he had 2 minutes to find it. And again, out of the entire time, I had to constantly pick him up, and he didn't find the ball. There was one time that he did, but again, this one's going to be 50-50, but half the time you're going to have to pick this guy up, set him back up, just so that he can make progress once again. But that's where the biggest frustration is. Now, I will say overall, as far as the D-O Droid goes for the $150 one, I do like the fact that his head has a lot of movement. You could see a lot of the personality of the character. And when he's stationary or standing upright without having to, move left and right, he works perfectly fine. But just as far as turning goes, that's going to be his weakest point, and which is something that's probably going to be one of the biggest takeaway for a lot of people, because what's the point of having a control feature if you have to keep constantly picking him up? Now, besides that, like I said, just his overall head movement is great. He's got a lot of really good personality, but I feel like for the cheaper version, even though that one doesn't have a lot of the head movement, that one does have better orientation of movement. But as far as the whole gyro system where he's kept upright, that works great. It's just to the point where it's kind of hard to recommend this product, at least at its current price rate. So if you are interested in D-O, as I stated, this one here is a Target exclusive. You're either better off waiting for a hopefully hefty price drop, or whatever the case may be, this one's going to be completely up to you guys. It's just, for me personally, I can't really recommend him at his current price tag. If he goes on sale and you want him for mainly just a desktop item for interaction and play, then I think he's going to be great for you guys. But if you're kind of wanting him to maybe roam around, drive it around, that's going to be the weakest point that again, it's really hard to recommend it at that area. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. As he stated, this one's a Target exclusive at the $150 price tag. There is the other one which you could see on the Dano's channel for a much cheaper price point. But until then, I am SirJames. Thank you, Xander, once again. Until then, I'll see you guys on the next review.